Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll get started on our next multiplayer matchup. We're going to be playing the Fortress Redemption Exterminatus objective with 2,000 points. There's no turn limit, and we have an 80-point target. 2,000 points, like I said, of army size. I'm going to be playing as a Tau, and we're going to be going against the Blood Angels. So since there's no turn limits, I think I end up going with a very extravagant range build, hoping that I can kite the enemy forces here. So I have the commander in order to give the damage buff and accuracy buffs. I have the two cadre fire blades to be able to buff up the number of shots we get and the 100% accuracy. I have two stealth teams with the fusion blaster to be able to get line of sight. I have three crisis battle suits here with their missile launchers, and then I have two flamers and a fusion blaster, and then I have an ethereal to be our leader here, so he can buff our guys. My hope is that with the cadres I can get 100% accuracy on the two what are they called, I can't think what they're called, the guys with the rail guns, and then that'll allow me to snipe any high value heroes or predator tanks, which most people end up taking here. And then it's like, do I go all flamer to counter the infantry that are going to be jumping me, or do I go more heavy? And I end up going with the flamers here because I felt like, well, with everybody else that I have here, I should have more than enough anti-vehicles. Now I'm just kind of moving everybody forward to get set up for when I am finally able to start spamming some abilities here. Broadside, that's what it is. I just could not recall what their name for the life of me. And it's like I'm just moving these guys forward a little bit here, so they're all in position. And then I'll set the broadsides up at their maximum range. I mean, they'll probably not hit anything, but it's still worth doing. Now, he moved all of his units around here. What I'm going to end up doing is try to get line of sight on guys here. So it's like, let's just put the camouflage down. That deactivates the jet boost, so you can't do both to cross all this distance. So it's like, well, shoot, maybe I should have moved them around a little bit first, but I want to come here. And now what I find out is those broadsides actually landed their attacks. Now, Slytherin's been having some weird things go on with their server. I'd be curious to know if you guys have been noticing this too, but I've been getting a lot of alerts from them that there's been like duplicate turns, and everything seems to load okay from my side, but then I didn't even see the broadside shoot those two tanks, and clearly both of them went off here. So I'm going to give that ability here to get the 100% accuracy. So now it's like, well, that's crazy. And then what I wasn't sure is if I do volley fire, will that increase their amount of shots or not to increase damage? And it doesn't. So since they only have one shot, it doesn't buff them up further. But the nice thing is with these guys here, I can shoot all the way across the map, do a ton of damage, and not have to worry about much. Now I'm flying these guys around. He has a Terminator. I'm going to put these guys into stealth mode here. And obviously he's way out of range for all of my guys, so I'm just trying to decide, do I want to push or do I want to fall back? And ultimately I want to keep getting shots onto these guys here, so I'm just going to move up a little bit, and this should allow us to almost kill that. Yep, so he's got 36 health left. So that's pretty crazy. Now it's like, should I be moving these guys around, or should I just be sitting back and just sniping them from range? And I feel like kiting these guys is probably going to be the best way of going, since there's unlimited turns right now. So we're just moving guys a little bit closer so they can all take advantage of the ethereal buffs here. And now I do need to be cautious with those Terminators, because he'll be able to cross a bunch of distance and engage me into melee. So I just want to make sure I get my squishy guys out of position And then what my hope is, by pulling everybody back, I can try to set up some overwatch, because what most players will do, as the Terminators, when they teleport in, they get a damage debuff for that turn, so most people want to try to do a charge attack to not only increase their damage that they do, to prevent counterattacks, even though it's really kind of a moot point against the Tau since all their guys suck in melee. But I'm just trying to position as much as I can to get as many overwatches as I can, because if he does try to charge me, I can then suppress him, and that'll nullify the Terminators and allow us to just snipe them down from range here. And I do have the Fusion Blaster, so that should help. Now, Flamers probably aren't going to do anything against the Terminators because of all that armor, but we can at least try.
Moving to position.
And if he moves here, that should allow us to get shots off over here. So I think I pretty much have both flanks covered. He does have a Tech Marine, so he's getting some heals going, and he's buffing the Predators. And he's jumping his Marines down. Dropped a couple of them there with the shots. Now he didn't show where they were because they didn't show up at the same location, the same square. So now these guys are showing up. But again, the stealth suits are just seem a little too overtuned here, because look at all the guys he's having to attack me with, and he still hasn't killed them. So that suggests that they're just too overpowered. I don't know if the solution is that you just take away their shields, that the access that they get, the little probes, or if you just, yeah, see, my suppression's working here. We're doing the flame, minimal damage there, unfortunately. But he's able to get into, oh, he's not able to get into territory. Kind of fooled me out there. Or what I was going to say isn't you just decrease the amount of damage reduction that the shields give you, the shield drones give you. I'm not sure what the best way of doing it is. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are, but after playing several missions now, I definitely feel like they're overtuned. But now I for sure got to be able to take out these Terminators here, because they are going to cause me issues. But unfortunately, because I went Flamer heavy assuming his Assault Marines were going to get me, I don't have any fusions over here. It's like I'd really like to take out these Sanguinary Guards.
Ready for orders.
I am here.
Calculating firing solutions.
And it's like I'm trying to figure out the order of attack here. Because my thought is, do I just focus on killing the Terminators right now? Or do I end up keeping those stealth suits there so I can get vision on the Predator tanks, snipe them out with my broadsides, and then do the damage? And it's like, well, we're up to 50 here. We've got all these guys here, and they've now used their jump, so I don't need to worry about that so much. If I pull him back here, I should have pretty good chances of hitting, or shooting, I should say.
Repositioning.
And now it's up to 90%, so it's like, bam, Predator's down. That's 10% of his force selection right there. That just got taken out. I don't think there's really anything I can do over here to salvage that situation. But I do need to be able to move guys over to get those rockets going. And I can't do anything with the broadside right now with those Terminators locking them down. It's like, ideally I'd like to snipe some of these hero guys too, but there's just too much of a target-rich environment. So it's like, well, the Sanguinary Guards need to be the priority for the rockets. And it's like I can get past with those guys, and I can obviously get shots with you. So it's like, let's just pull you guys back here to start shooting into the Terminators, because you should have enough damage here to take guys out. And if we do, we destroy 2 of them. Well, destroy 1 of them, kill 1 of them, but do good damage to the other one. And now it's like, well, if I can get my Ethereal to get rear attacks, he should have enough damage here to take those guys out. And he kills another model, so it's like, alright, I should be able to just kill this other model now. And I do, so now the Terminators are down.
Of course.
And that's opened up this whole area here, and I still have vision. So it's like, I think it's time to start shooting into these Sanguinary Guard.
Open fire! Just from afar! Moving.
And we'll move these guys up here to do even more. Now the extra shots don't actually buff up his stuff here. I pull him back. Because again, I need to kite these guys to me.
Standing by.
I pull these guys back. And then I run this guy up to be able to finish off the Sanguinary Guard. But what I should have done that would have been better is I didn't realize the broadsides, their rocket, because this is still early in my knowledge here, I didn't realize his rocket attack is a free action, so I should have used some of those rockets to attack the Sanguinary Guard, because I would have done a lot more damage, because his rockets do pretty consistently more damage. But if you're wondering why I'm pulling everybody back and not using the rocket attacks, it's because I don't realize that that's a free action right now. So now I'm just trying to figure out how I want to position my guys again, so we can keep pulling back here and not get killed. What I don't want is for him to end up taking out my Ethereal, because I am enjoying all these buffs he's given my guys. I also need to keep these cadres alive as well,
Establishing fire zone.
so they can keep buffing my other guys.
Armored support. Ready.
So I'm just trying to figure out how do I want to position these guys to do the maximum amount here, because I assume he's probably going to try to snipe down my Ethereal, because he should be pretty easy to kill with his Space Marines there if they use their enhanced accuracy ability. Or he might even be able to jump them with his Lieutenant. So I'm just trying to put guys around here in case he tries a charge attack, so I can try to suppress his guys again.
Armored support. Ready.
On your word.
And then we have these guys over here, so it's like, what am I gonna do? It's like, well, maybe I can start at least getting some shots into the Inceptors here. Although maybe it would have been a better idea to attack the Assault Marine, because then I could have killed a model, but it didn't seem like it was totally necessary. But so now the stealth team is finally down. These guys are moving up.
They may yet be convinced of the truth of our words.
Tech Marines moving up here to start getting some heals. Now I didn't see him put the buff on the Predator there. Everybody else is moving up, trying to get into range. Now he brings the Lieutenant up to here and drops him down there, so it's like that's smart and then not smart at the same time. It's smart in that it makes it hard for my guys to shoot into him with the rail cannons and things because he's in full cover, but it's bad because now he's not able to get him into combat for 2 turns because of the he's so far away from me. And so I'm not sure what I think about that plan here, but it's like, okay, I have an 80% chance to hit. These other abilities are still on cooldown, so it's like, well, let's just try to focus down this Predator. I've got 2 80% shots. And I'm getting greedy, and I'm like, well, if maybe I can get their accuracy even better if I bring them back here, because I really want to drop that Predator, but it's like, no, it's going to be 80% no matter what. So I end up moving these guys around, and this is when I start to discover, like, oh shit, that's a free action. So I'm like, damn it. I'll get a little bit closer and see what you can do. Now, even though he's in full cover, the lieutenant could still get shot by the missiles here, but I had much more worried about the basic Space Marines at this point in time. And it's like his chance to hit is so much lower now, so I'm definitely goofing things up here, but it's like, well, let's just attack here. Blows up, takes out those guys. I'm moving him up a little bit because I want to launch another round of missiles here. Try to take out the intercessors because everybody else is still too far away because of my poor positioning here. Ideally, I would have also taken out the Sanguinary Guards or had some better value targets to attack there, but because I was not realizing that was the free attack, I did not do that. So now I'm just trying to get these guys positioned in a way that I can keep attacking here. Now, I noticed that the commander's too far away, so I'm not getting that accuracy and damage buff, so I got to get him closer to help. And now I see it's there, and now the accuracy is up to 91%. So it's like, well, keep it going. And bring that up here. He's not in range, which is why it's so low. So it's like, well, I was pretty happy with that 91%, so let's just attack here. For whatever reason, it's 88% right now. But I need to get the kill, so the Sanguinary Priest doesn't just keep healing everybody. And we got the last one here at 100%. So it's like I've now taken out 2 Sanguinary Guard, 2 Predators, an Intercessor. You know, 55% of his forces, most of them are his strongest forces, and he's taken out 1 stealth suit. So this is obviously a highly effective force to use here. Now part of me is like, well, do I just run these guys down to start sniping the lieutenant down? But I felt like at this point in time there's no reason to get aggressive, because he's going to have to come to me, and hopefully he's just going to overextend with his jump infantry because he's going to get frustrated, and that's going to let me get some counters. And then with my crisis suits, I can also use their jetpacks and then just get the flamers into range. So I'm just buffing all the guys here to get their evasion up further. Bringing the commander up here, assuming he's going to want to jump me.
With pride.
And the nice thing too is next turn all of my buffs with the cadre are going to be back up, so I should be able to get some 100% shots with the broadsides, hopefully snipe down the tech marine and the lieutenant if he puts himself into a vulnerable position. Because now the big thing is I just got to be a little bit careful with his command points that he's not dropping a bunch of assault marines on me, because he's going to definitely have at least 2 command points right now. So he can call in at least 1, and that they'll definitely be able to kill a cadre without much difficulty. If he gets to 3, he can drop one of those missiles on these guys and do some pretty significant damage. But instead he ends up just quitting. He's like, this is horseshit. I don't want to do this anymore. And that's very understandable. This is a very obnoxious force selection that I did here. I kind of got the idea of it after I had my very first match playing the Space Marines, is I figured most players are going to try to do the assault marine and jump infantry spam, because that's what's been so highly effective for such a long period of time. So I thought, well, if this is an Exterminatus mission with unlimited turns, I should just kite them and get all the range attacks with the broadsides and the crisis suits, and then be able to snipe out the heavy vehicles or heroes like we were doing here with the 100% accuracy. So highly effective use here. Definitely using the stealth suits to be able to get line of sight so you can take advantage of the extreme range of all the other units works out extremely well, especially right now. I really hope that they do nerf these stealth suits, because they definitely seem like they're way too good. I mean, they're almost harder to kill than a vehicle. At least with a vehicle, there's only one model that you can then focus fire down. But because there's 3 separate models, they get overkilled, and then it wastes the attacks of other units. And then with so much armor that they have, most of the other infantry and melee units have trouble even killing them. So definitely very difficult, in addition to the fact that most people will be buffing them with the ethereals, so they're getting 15% additional health with a 15% debuff to enhancement where they're getting a damage reduction. So that's like 30% above where they're at, and that can be reapplied every 2 turns, and then the damage reduction is permanent. And then they can be set up with anti-vehicle weapons, so they can then be used to snipe, because the other way to do this is you use the cadre to give 100% accuracy. You jump in there, they have 100% chance of hitting, and then you can almost one-shot enemy heroes down. So these guys can also be extreme assassins too, and if you can take out their HQ and reset all their points, that can really mess it up, because one of the major advantages of the Space Marines is they can summon in additional units with the 2 command points and really do a ton of damage. But using the broadsides to get the free missile attacks, like I said, I did a bad job showing that off this time because I didn't realize that was a free attack. But they also have that extreme range with that rail cannon that they have, or railgun I guess it's called. So that's how I'd recommend using it, especially on a big open map like this where you're the defender. It's going to be really obnoxious for most other players. I've still got to figure out a way to counter something like this, because the problem is the tower are really good at pretty much everything. You can't use your assault marines because they're going to get sniped out. You can't do the sanguinary guards because they're going to get sniped out by all the rockets. You think, oh, I'm going to end up doing anti-armor, but then if they're having these broadsides and other units, then they can just snipe those down in addition to the stealth suits. So it just seems like the Tau can counter everything right now. So I'm going to have to play around and see what I can do to kind of come up with a good force selection for the Space Marines to attack the Tau. But right now it seems like they're just a huge counter to the Space Marine play, which is nice because the Space Marines are definitely the strongest faction in the game prior to the Tau coming out. And the Tau can definitely be countered by other units, such as the other factions, such as the Necrons. But right now it's definitely an extremely rough matchup. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.